Today, we are going to dive deep into that psychological code that really separates the winners from everyone else. And we're using the incredible work of Mark Douglas as our guide. Okay, so let's set the stage. Picture two traders. We'll call them Trader A and Trader B. Now, get this. They are using the exact same trading system. They're looking at the same charts, they have the same knowledge of the market, and yet Trader A is just consistently pulling profits out week after week. Meanwhile, Trader B is bleeding money. So what's going on here? What's the hidden variable? It's not the strategy, that's for sure. It's what's going on between their ears. And that leads us right into our first big idea, figuring out who the real enemy is when you're trading. So most traders go on this really predictable journey, right? They start out with fundamental analysis. They're studying the companies, the economy, the news, all the why behind why a stock should go up or down. But pretty soon, they get super frustrated because a fantastic company stock will just tank for no good reason. So what do? They pivot. They jump over to technical analysis. Charts, cool-looking patterns, indicators. And for a minute, this feels like a total breakthrough. But then, a new monster pops up. Inconsistency. That picture-perfect setup that worked yesterday suddenly fails miserably today. Think you're doing everything you're supposed to, you've learned a good system, but the account balance just keeps going the wrong way. Man, it is an incredibly tough place to be. And here it is, the big reveal, the absolute core insight from all of Mark Douglas's work. The battle isn't you against the market. The real fight, the real war, is happening right inside your own mind. So you gotta ask, why is trading so psychologically brutal? Well, it all comes down to a paradox. The very thing that pulls us into trading in the first place is also its greatest danger. Meet your real opponents. It's fear, that little voice that makes you miss a perfect entry. It's greed, the one that convinces you to hold a winning trade way too long, right until it turns into a loser. It's that powerful, ego-driven need to be right that stops you from just taking a small loss. It's impulsiveness, hesitation, and oh yeah, the big one, revenge trading. Trying to get back at the market after it took your money. Taming these guys, that's the real job of a trader. Trading offers this ultimate sense of total freedom, and that is an incredibly powerful, attractive idea. But here's the catch. Here's the trap. Think about a normal job. There's structure, right? There are rules. There's a boss who tells you when you're messing up. In the world of trading, none of that exists. It is an environment of absolute, total freedom. And as Mark Douglas points out, most of us just aren't mentally built to handle that. Without any external rules, we become our own worst enemy. And this is where we have to completely slip our thinking. The amateur trader looks at a set of rules, a trading plan, and they see a cage, something that's holding back their genius. But the professional, they see a suit of armor. They know those rules are their protection. They're what save you from yourself, from your own fear, your own greed, your own impulses. So the key takeaway is this. The rules don't limit your freedom, they actually create it. Okay, this brings us to what might be the single biggest mindset shift any trader can possibly make. It's the foundation that everything else is built on. It's all about taking absolute responsibility. I mean, look at the difference here. It's night and day. The blame mindset makes you completely powerless. You're a victim. The market was out to get me. That move wasn't fair. But the responsibility mindset, that's all about power. It doesn't matter what the market did. The only thing that matters is how did you choose to react? Every single outcome, win or lose, becomes a chance to learn. You are the one in control of your actions. Now, to be super clear, absolute responsibility isn't about beating yourself up when you lose. Not at all. It's about accepting deep down that you are the cause of your results. Why? Because you're the one clicking the buttons. You decide to enter. You decide to exit. You decide to follow your plan or break it. This mindset isn't just a suggestion. It is non-negotiable for success. So the point is really simple when you think about it. The moment you stop blaming the market for your losses is the moment you stop giving away your power. You finally realize the only thing in this entire game you can actually control is yourself. And that right there is where all the power to generate consistent results really comes from. So if we stop blaming the market and we start taking responsibility, how are we supposed to think about trading? Well, that brings us to the engine of professional trading, learning to think in probabilities. This is a massive mental shift. Amateurs are always trying to predict the future. They are desperate to be right on every single trade. But professionals,
They couldn't care less about being right on one trade. They don't predict, they play the odds. They just operate a system that they know has a statistical edge over a large number of trades. That's the whole game.
All right, let's make this super simple. Let's just say you have a trading strategy. You've tested it, and you know for a fact that over time, it wins 60% of the time. That's 60%, that's your statistical edge. And here is the million-dollar question. You know you're going to win 6 out of the next 10 trades, but you have absolutely no idea which 6 they will be. The wins and the losses are distributed completely randomly. You could easily have 4 losses in a row and still have a winning, profitable system. And it's that uncertainty that just completely destroys the amateur mindset. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Look at this series of trades. You start off with 2 losses right out of the gate. Then another one at trade number 4. An amateur trader would be totally panicking right now, thinking their system is broken, maybe even abandoning it. But the pro, they just keep executing the plan because they trust the probabilities. And look what happens. By the end of the series, even with 4 losses, their statistical edge plays out and they walk away with a really nice profit. So what this really means is you need to totally shift your focus. From now on, stop caring whether any one trade wins or loses. Seriously, it's completely irrelevant. Your only job, your entire job description, is to execute your plan perfectly, over and over and over again. That is how you let your edge do the work for you. All right, let's put all the pieces together. What does it actually mean to think like a trader? What does this professional mindset look like when you're in the heat of the moment? This right here is your checklist for building that psychological edge. The pros stay emotionally neutral. They don't get giddy with a win or depressed with a loss. A losing trade isn't a personal failure. It's just a business expense, like a shop owner paying rent. They are ruthlessly disciplined, but also flexible enough to adapt when the market changes. And they always focus on the long-term process, not the short-term results. And look, if you only take one single thing away from this entire explainer, please let it be this. You will drive yourself crazy searching for a perfect, consistent system out there somewhere in the market. It doesn't exist. True, lasting consistency is an internal state of mind. It's something you build inside yourself through discipline, responsibility, and that probability mindset. So the final question really is for you. The path to becoming a successful trader isn't about finding some new secret indicator or a magic strategy. It's a journey inward. It's about mastering yourself. The real question is, are you ready to take that journey?